party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home. Party, party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to episode 53 of the Ball Talk Pod. Here to, I don't even want to talk about Game 6. Let's just talk about Game 7. Big news, people. The Thunder are playing in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. That is exciting. Game 6 was horrible.
Yeah, if you don't think about Game 6 at all, a Game 7 in your building is like a dream come true. You texted me, it's like a bucket list item to go to. But after watching Game 6, it's like, ugh, I don't want to do that. But obviously, I'm going to be really excited for Sunday. But
yeah, last night was, there's all this build-up. You think after Game 5, it almost happened in the same way in the Denver series where it's like we won Game 4 and Game 5. You feel like you have something figured out, and you're going into Game 6. We start out hot. Like it was, 8-2 or 10-2, I think.
But we should have been up by more. They were throwing up bricks. They were too excited. They were like 0 for 6 to start the game. We needed to be up by more, put more pressure on them. And we just didn't. And they got a lead and never relinquished it.
Yeah, I think when looking at the game, I think the biggest strategy piece that Carlisle pulled out was, I think it was the lowest they picked up Shea in basically our entire offense from a point of attack. Like they were picking up Shea basically at the 3-point line, which it makes sense.
Did, right?
Yeah, like it makes sense. Like you want to give Shea the least amount of space as possible. He's not really like hunting his threes. I think he knows, that's not where he breads his butter. Butters his bread.
That's not where he breads his butter.
He doesn't do anything.
Let's be honest. That's not where Shea Gilgeous-Alexander breads his butter.
Yeah, and we might still be drunk after watching that horrible basketball game last night. But that was the main piece. I think one thing that is a positive in all this is, like they said last year, and I mentioned it before, it's like the team that lost has the advantage going into the next game because they're going to be the ones that adjust to what the team that won did. And so it's in that sense, it's kind of like, okay, like, you're searching for positives after just a brutal showing. It's kind of funny in those games, in those moments where you're getting blown out in a game that does not end your season, or you saw it on the court. The Pacers knew they could not lose. We technically could lose,
right?
But as a fan, you almost go through the entire grieving process during the course of the game. Like by the end of the game, I was not that upset. Like I looked at my wife and was like I think she was kind of shocked that I wasn't more down. Like we turned on a movie.
We talked about your wife. She's an all-time positive sports watcher. At what point did she give up?
I'm gonna be honest. It was fading at halftime. It wasn't going. But that third quarter, where we didn't score until I think there was like 6 minutes and 40 or 50 seconds left. Like we legitimately did not score for 5 minutes to start the third quarter.
Yeah.
Once that all happened, it was just kind of like, well, Game 7's going to be fun. like that'll be a lot of fun.
Game 7's going to be a lot of fun. You're right. I saw someone on Twitter or something say like I just handled these losses a little better because it's obvious from the beginning. The way we were turning over the ball, the way we could not make a three, it was pretty obvious to me that it was just like maybe not our night. And then I texted you after Chet missed that alley-oop dunk because that felt like we were going on a little bit of a run. We had a little bit of momentum at that point. He mishandles the dunk and throws it off the back of the rim. I text you, maybe it's just not our night. Chet's missing stuff like that. So,
and you were right.
It felt a little bit just like they were like, "Oh, you wanna? Here's not making any threes. Here's 1 for 10 from the three again. Also, we're gonna kick you while you're down. We're gonna shove shit in your face, and we're gonna." Make you turn over the ball more than the other team for the first time all season. Like, it was just like, the way we were so careless with the ball was shocking and just like, what the hell are we watching? Like, I don't know how you felt watching that, but it's just like,
you want to hope that they did not win Game 5 and think, if like Game 6 is whatever. Like that is the hope.
I
And
don't
obviously,
think they did.
I don't think they did, but I think early in that game when things like someone brought up, they're like, if they had held on for Game 1, they would have won it in 5. If they would have won Game 1, I'm not sure they win Game 4. Because there was that like desperation that they had to go get that game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all a mental thing. Like that's the bottom line. Like everyone's freaking out because we got down 30. We ended up losing by 20 something, whatever it was, and it's the exact definition of no game in a series, specifically basketball, is the same. Like
Right.
every time that ball goes up and tip-off happens, there is not a linear progression over the course of a 7-game series.
Because
You
it's
had-
10 guys trying to make or miss shots, play better defense. Everyone's trying to do different things every game.
Well, and you have 3 humans, and like the refs were not the reason we lost last night at all. But on top of that, you have 3 referees that how they call the game impacts the game. Like every single game this series has felt like its own thing. Where if the Pacers won, you're like they have it figured out now, and then the Thunder still have not lost back-to-back games this postseason, and the hope is they end the season without losing back-to-back games in this postseason. But it's just going to be fascinating. We were talking about after Game 5 about how we thought we liked the chances. Everyone in Oklahoma City liked the chances. Like I was at like my wife's work's like family summer event, and everyone there, some of them were going to Indiana, which I feel sorry for them.
Yeah, shout out.
They were just talking like, no, we have this. It's ending on Thursday. And
yeah, I never felt that way.
I wanted to. And I texted you and I texted some buddies about how like it was a weird
I'm not your
line.
buddy.
Well, we're family. We're family. That it was a weird line of like thinking about how important and how crazy and special that night could have been, and not also thinking about it. Like it is something you need to appreciate, and we're going to be walking that line again Sunday. But it's what it all comes down to is we played like crap in Game 6. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no one in that game that I think is like, yeah, I played pretty good. Like, if I just do that again, we'll be fine on Sunday. No. Shea was like telling everybody he was mic'd up, so he was like, hey, boys, you got one game for all the marbles. And, he's going to be pumped. He's going to be ready. He was whistling, walking off the court, which is like is that a step up from that like meme when he was smiling walking off the court in Denver? It's man, I don't know. It's a roller coaster of emotions, and I feel like I've already gone up and down like 3 times since the game ended last night. Like I was fine when the game ended, and I was like honestly like genuinely very excited for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and golfed this morning, didn't golf well, and in my brain I was like, they could lose on Sunday. Like
your golf game is what predicates if the Thunder win or lose.
I golfed well on yesterday on the day of the game,
and they lost.
So I had to go out today and make sure that I did not feel good about my golf game.
Golfing tomorrow?
Mission accomplished. No, I'm not. That was my last.
So you have to golf bad tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I'll mentally golf bad tomorrow, but. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'll go through all emotions in the next 48 hours. I'm super excited to go to a Game 7. Like I texted you, like it truly is a bucket list thing. And if you ask everyone before Game 6, I got some other podcasts were doing it, and they were like, if you had to guess, or like if you were guaranteed the Thunder winning, would you rather do it in 6 or 7? And everyone said, if you guaranteed me a win, I want it in 7 because I want it at home in front of the home crowd. But everyone was also following that up with saying, you can't guarantee me anything. I just want to win.
Right.
And that's where I was. That's 100% where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I don't care if we win on the road. I just want a championship. It did not happen. And the hope is it creates a moment on Sunday in Oklahoma City that changes basically the state of Oklahoma forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fascinating. It's terrifying.
Yeah,
And
I'd agree.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
I'm ready for it.
You know, let's take a look at. I just want to read some stats from Game 6 to prepare us for Game 7. Because what happened was Jalen Williams was a minus 40 in the plus minus. Another interesting stat. Shea had 8 turnovers.
That was tied his career high.
0 blocks and only 6 rebounds. You know, like they had 11 offensive boards. We had 4. They had 37. We did beat them in the defensive rebounds. But like, do I think Shea's going to have another 8 turnover game and 2 assists? No. Do I think Jalen Williams is going to be another minus 40? No. I think they're going to go back to the drawing board. Like you said, the losing team has the advantage, you feel like, because they have you feel like the Pacers have found something that works for them. So to be able to be like, well, we're going to change something and you're not going to get to know what it is until the ball goes up, feels like an advantage for the Thunder. You're at home in Game 7. You feel good about the Thunder faithful coming out and being loud and being ready to, lose their voice for work on Monday. Do I think that we're going to shoot, the starters before, I think the bench came in, or the scrub guys came in and they put up and made 5 threes. 5 of our 8 threes. I think our starters and guys who play regular minutes going to make more threes. Yes, I think so. So there's a lot going for the Thunder. You just have to. There's a lot of controllable stuff going in the Game 7. That's going to make it really, really fun to watch, I hope. But I throw this game away as a Thunder fan. Don't watch the highlights if you can call them highlights. I think it's more
lowlights,
more like lowlights for the team. But Game 7 at our crib, we're gonna be loud. Have yourself a Sunday.
It's gonna be like one of the craziest environments in sports. Like that is what I expect from Paycom. I don't expect anyone to sit the entire game. I expect the team to play better. I expect there to be a lot of nerves on both sides. One thing that I don't understand is how a guy can look so natural and not hurt on a strained calf or whatever he has. Halliburton did not look like too hampered, in my opinion. Now, I don't know, and the doctors who listen, you can tell me if this is crazy. The Thunder dealt with this in the Denver series, where Michael Porter Jr. had a shoulder issue, and he would get some kind of injection, but he could only get the injection every handful of days or once a week or something like that. And so you could tell when he got it because his level of play went up exponentially. And then after a couple days, the next game after that, he was back to being how he was. Now, and I don't know if it's the same thing that can work for like a calf strain versus like whatever the shoulder issue was that he had. Because that crossed my mind. I was like, he was like running and jumping and there was zero noticeable limp. Everyone always talks about Halliburton like he's a front runner to where he'll do media if they win and kind of slips out the back door if they lose. So it's like, okay, was he limping? Like, obviously I do think it's a legit calf strain, but he did not look bad to me, which was one of my reasons why I was optimistic going into Game 6. I did not think they could beat us with a hampered Halliburton.
But he was 3 for 7 from 3.
What did he have, like 14,
23
5
minutes,
or something like that?
14 points, 5 assists. Yeah, they were clowning us towards the end. It was but that's why you win Game 5, and that's why you play all season. Mark said they played all season to have this opportunity at home, right?
Yeah.
This makes it so much easier for them to have this game at home than if it was on the road.
Oh yeah. Well, and like go back to October opening night in Denver. That night, if you were a Thunder fan and you were given, hey, the Thunder will play a Game 7 with a chance to win the NBA championship, do you take that? You take it 100 times out of 100. The only frustrating part is when you provide context that like they could have closed it in 6 and did not show up, basically.
Yeah.
That's the only reason like so many people are down today because of how bad yesterday was. And it was bad. But it's a new game on Sunday.
0-0.
It's crazy. The scary part is that you leave yourself up to a 1-game sample size in the variance of what can happen in one game.
Right.
It's the first Game 7 in the NBA Finals since 2016. So it's been a while. There are very few times it happens. They say it's the greatest 2 words in sports, Game 7, and we talked about it during the Denver series, that it's only the greatest 2 words if your team's not in the game.
Right.
Because then you get to sit back. Like, again, I think this series has been insane, and those that are tanking the ratings because they don't want to watch 2 small market teams are missing phenomenal basketball.
Mm-hmm.
At least by the Pacers last night. But throughout the course of the series, they have missed a very fun series, and I'm jealous of those people that have just been able to sit back and enjoy game by game and don't really care about the outcome. Now, you win on Sunday. It's all worth it. It's right there. This team should take care of business. The line opened at like Thunder by 9. It's gone down to like 6, which is a little crazy that it's gone down that much. But in a Game 7, literally everything is on the table, which is the scariest part going into Sunday for this team.
March Madness.
Yeah.
This is March Madness in June. You tip the ball off, some guy gets really hot, TJ McConnell decides he's LeBron James and wins the Pacers a series. Like, that's all up for grabs, right?
Man, if you don't close it out on Sunday, I don't know if I'll ever be able to like enjoy watching TJ McConnell play basketball. Like, he will be villain number 1.
Alvarado. I don't like that.
Or JJ Barea.
Archetype of player. But
yeah, Rick Carlisle always has like some spunky, white guy point guard on his playoff teams that just havoc everywhere they go.
Right.
And, I mean, he's playing great.
He's playing so good. He should be their Finals MVP.
Yeah, that's a big, like on Twitter and everything, that's a huge question right now. Is like, if the Pacers did pull this off, who do you give it to? The Thunder also have that because Dubs played so well. I still think it's Shea if he wins.
Minus 40 last night.
Who?
Shea.
Oh, Dub.
Dub.
Yeah, he followed up a 40-point game with a 40-point game, just in 2 very different manners.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's crazy. Do you want to, before we get out here, do you want to make a prediction, or do you just want to enjoy it?
I want to enjoy it. I'm going to love this team and root for this team for the rest of my life. So this one game is not going to decide how much I love this team and have enjoyed this year. So I feel like I'm just going to go into the game ready to watch basketball.
Agreed.
Nervous, of course, because that's the type of fan I am. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really, really fun. Really, really scary. I'll be probably clenching my fist in my jaw the whole game out of pure panic. So,
yeah, same. I'm super excited. I think it's going to be phenomenal to be at. It's going to be something that we tell everyone that we were at. We'll tell our kids in 40 years about this game. And in a 1-game sample size, I like our boys to go do it. Like, they've responded all year. They bounce back from losses, and they play phenomenal at home. And again, don't play the game on paper. You have to go out and actually win the basketball game, shockingly enough. But everything about this team says they will be ready for the moment, and I am very excited to see that response and see potentially one of the best performances you'll ever see by a team. And because that's just what Game 7 does.
One team is going to have just an unreal time. I think one team's going to really play well. Do you expect it to be more of a blowout, or do you expect it to be like a down-to-the-wire close game?
I think it'll go 2 ways. I think it's either a blowout or close. Those are the 2 options.
Those are the 2 options, eh?
No, like if you told me that, like, it just depends on how it starts. You know, like, do you start out hot? Do you hit, your first 4 or 5 threes? Shooting variance will go a long way in determining this game, but I kind of could see it being like a grinded out game, and hopefully, the Thunder can pull away late. But again, like, you sit here and like every scenario possible, you could talk me into being realistic, because I think they all are. So I don't know. Like you said, I like the chances, and I'm glad it's at home. It's why you win 68 games in the regular season. But gun to my head, what happens? I still couldn't tell you then, because of how crazy the series has been, how crazy basketball is in general. Just pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger. I couldn't tell you. There's no way to know. And that's why my dad always says, that's why they throw the ball out there.
Yep. But
so they'll roll the ball out on Sunday for Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
And it will be our final
Thunder. Yeah,
our final recap.
What happens, your stress over this series, over the season, is done on Friday. Or Sunday.
Praise be. Sunday night we will know, which is awesome and terrifying at the same time.
Right.
But we will be here to recap that game. We'll see how we're feeling. It could be the craziest recap. It could be the worst recap.
It could be a 2-second thing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But we'll deliver. I apologize for getting this out later than normal. I've been traveling, and honestly, we didn't really want to talk too much about it last night. We kind of wanted to sit on it and maybe talk more Game 7 than talk about the abomination of last night. But with that, we're going to sign off. Appreciate everybody for listening, and we'll be back on Sunday night to recap Game 7 of the NBA Finals. My last thing I'll tell everyone, do your best to enjoy it, because this moment, like I said, this is the first Game 7 since 2016. These moments don't come along often. Regardless of what happens, it's going to be a phenomenal time and rare and something you don't get often. So enjoy it. We'll talk to you Sunday. Appreciate everybody. See ya.
See ya.
All night long. Party, we like to party, all night long. Party, we like to